Hello, everybody. Welcome to our special Carl's Wrestling edition of NXT from this couple of last two nights, in fact, Stand and Deliver. And we've got Mr. Carl Rogers here. It's his show. I'm handing it over to you, Carl. How are you, my friend, in this gigantic WrestleMania week?
I'm very well, thank you. Very tired, very busy, as always. But even more busy with Takeover and WrestleMania. So, but yeah, I'm really good, thank you. How are you, John?
I'm good, mate. I'm good if you're good. Got a little message here. Thanks, Lewis. Hi to you as well. I hope you're Lewis. Let us know what you think of WrestleMania as well coming up and what you thought of NXT Takeover. I'll be interested to see what everybody's opinions are with the whole show and how everyone thinks. Now, the great thing here, Carl, is we've got a real pleasure of sharing some great pictures in this show given to us by the WWE themselves. So credit to them for all the photos that we show in and Carl's disappeared on me. With that said, he's had some connection problems, so I'm not sure if we're going to have Carl on for the whole show or not. He's kind of done the SP3 route on me. By the way, big shout out to SP3 and those guys over at True Heel Heat. They did an absolutely phenomenal job of their review recently on the last couple of nights and also previewing WrestleMania. You can check that out on their YouTube channel. True Heel Heat 120. Let's see if we can get Mr. Rogers back on. You're back with us, Carl.
I'm back.
We might be doing this a lot through the show.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll be professional enough to continue on and get us through this. By the way, I hope people like my T-shirt. I got this out especially for Games and Graps. Bit of a shout out to those guys. Sonny G, got Mario, and a little bit of the Alien film going on. Not sure if anybody's that interested in Nintendo, but I'm a little bit of a geek. Anyway, Carl, would you like to start us off with the proceedings of NXT Stand and Deliver, the first night as it was? What have we got first to have a look at, my friend?
Well, we had Zoe Starks as Tony Storm in the pre-show, and oh my god, that just got me buzzing, before I fell asleep. But yeah, that was just an awesome match, and Zoe Starks is probably one of my new favorite wrestlers, to be honest. She's just on fire, bang, fire, it's just crazy. And yeah, Tony Storm was looking good as ever, and they both women battled, and I think Zoe Starks could be one of the biggest talents in the future.
Yeah, I completely missed this, so I'm glad that you picked up on this, Carl. This shows my lack of professional shot here of the goings on, as you could see. Great shot, but wow. Yeah, it got like quite high praise when I was looking at some of the reviews on that. And obviously Tony Storm being, you know, from the UK as well, we have like a little bit of biased interest there. So it's good to see them getting a night. One thing I want to ask you, Cole, what did you think of like the setup of NXT Takeover, like the way it looked? Did you like it? Because obviously there were some people there for a change. We still had the screens, but I thought it was quite cool. And although they did pipe in a bit of noise like that, the fake noise, it was a little bit more bearable for me. What about for you? Did you like the setup and the look?
Yeah, I really liked it. You know, like it had that feeling like with the metal cages around everywhere. I think they've had that in NXT anyway, but I haven't really watched much NXT to be honest. But it was a really cool atmosphere. You know, having a bit of a crowd and the screens at the top as well. That was really cool. Yeah, I really liked it.
Cool. Well, that's good, my friend. So let's go to the next match now, then, shall we? This was the first match on the main card, as it was. So we'll get to that now. What have we got there, Carl?
Pete Dunne versus Kushida.
Nice. Here we go. Here's a good shot.
Picture.
Pete Dunne, who looks absolutely fantastic, by the way, in such amazing condition. Obviously, he got high praise. I think Randy Orton sent him a tweet when he was bulking up like that, and he looks the absolute part, like a real star on NXT, which is really good to see him back doing. You know, he's good. And this was a really good match because I know people before this came on, they were a little bit worried what kind of match we were going to get because it was kind of thrown together a little bit quick. But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a great way to start the show as well. What about you, Cole? What did you take away in your notes?
Well, this was a really good match. Pete Dunne's one of my absolute favourites. So, as you know, John, from Progress to NXT UK, he's always been one of those guys that just stuck with me. And it was a hard hitting match. Pete Dunne snapping the fingers, just joints, you know. Yeah, you know, it was just it was crazy, you know, and a lot of grounding, technical wrestling as well. I saw, and you know, I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Let's just put up a quick comment here. I just reading the Becky Lynch is to come back this weekend. Yeah, there's been some stuff, especially with the Triple H conference calls mentioning Becky coming back and Ronda as well.
Oh, wow.
So lots of speculation, as you can imagine, Cole.
Yeah.
As we're used to in wrestling. Was you happy with the result about this one? And obviously, you know, the victory there for our guy and your favourite. Was you happy with that, my friend, the way it finaled?
I was very happy, very, very happy, you know. And I was standing up at the end of it. I was just so happy, you know.
This is before you fell asleep, is it? I hope.
Yeah, this is before I fell asleep. Yeah, I think it was the gauntlet match. I fell asleep.
Right. Well, that says a lot for that one, doesn't it? You've just given that spoiler away for that one if it sent you to sleep. But we do live in the UK, to be fair to us, and it is ridiculously stupid hours in the morning. I believe NXT Stand and Deliver did not start till 1 a.m. in the UK because our clocks have recently changed as well, which doesn't help. Pete Dunne got the win in just under 11 minutes. I thought it was a very good match, very crisp, very Pete Dunne-ish like, but they used a lot of technical stuff. They worked the body part as well. We'll get to that a little bit later because a lot of people said they kind of mimicked that match later on in the Walter match, but it wasn't a bad thing for me. So I was very happy with that indeed. Next up, we got this crazy gauntlet match, Carl. Which obviously the winner of this, the stipulation is the winner would get the North American title shot. And I know reading and especially rumors and even I'm sure True Heel Heat even mentioned that the sort of favorites were more or less, I think SP3 said Dexter Lumis was like his go-to, but he did not make and survive towards the end there. So they went a completely different way with Bronson Reed. But what did you think of this match, Cole? Because probably out of all of the matches on the first night, I'd say this one was slightly the weakest, I'd say, although it was pretty decent for what it was and the stipulation, I thought. But what did you think?
Well, I thought it was quite good at the start where Leo Isaiah Swerve Scott just battered Leon Ruff, you know, and just as he battered him until he got into the ring, and then and I quite liked that, you know, and then pretty much after that I fell asleep, but rewatching it was pretty good. I was a bit sad that Dexter Lumis didn't win. It was either LA Knight or Dexter for me, you know. I thought they didn't really need to push LA Knight, do they? He's quite a big star already, so I thought he could have had the chance, but no, but still got future, you know. It could happen. And Dexter Lumis, I thought it would work because of the little feud they've had, you know, with Austin Creed. No, Austin Theory, you know, and just, you know, where he kidnapped him and stuff, and I thought that would really work, but no, but still, again, the future.
Absolutely. So it was I mean, it weren't like, the thing is, it was always going to be one of those matches that I think going in was going to be difficult to get everybody involved. But you know what? In the big scheme of things on a card, I don't think it was that bad. It was kind of bearable for me when I was watching it back. There was some great spots in there as well. I've got a really good shot, I believe, from a ridiculous angle of this one as well. This is a pretty cool shot that you see right zoomed in. It's a beautiful photo there. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent match. Obviously, Bronson Reed getting the win, that would mean he would go on to night 2 as to take on the North American champion himself. Now, next up, we've got one of my absolute favorites, and I know he's kind of one of yours as well, and that is our man Walter, or as he's known in WWE, Walter. Against another one of my favorites, really, from NXT, I would say, is Tommaso Ciampa, who went back to his old roots. He looked a little bit more like the old DIY stuff, and the commentators kept making sure we knew that as well. They weren't going to let that go. So even if you didn't get it from the appearance, they're going to tell you he's the old Tommaso Ciampa. So we had to keep knowing that. But this was the match I was most looking forward to when they announced night 1. What is your takeaway of this, my friend?
Chops, and chops. Absolutely hard hitting, you know. It was a really good match. And when Tommaso took Walter on the top of the rope, you know, and just bang off the top of the rope, it was just like, wow. And there were points where I thought Tommaso was going to win. But then I thought, and I spoke to a few friends, I thought, you know, is that going to really work? Because not because he's American, you know, but it's a United Kingdom and European title, I thought. So I wasn't quite sure if it would work or not, but it probably would have. But who is there anybody who's Walter going to go against next? You know, he's running out of opponents.
He is. Great shot there, just flied up where, of course, he broke the announce desk. They kept making a big point of that. But you're right. There was, do you know, the only thing that took me out a little bit of this whole NXT takeover, and it might just be for us on the WWE network, so not in America, is that every time, because it was on the Wednesday night, which meant it was going out on USA Network, we had to go through the adverts. So every time a commercial came on, it kind of silenced. And then I kept hearing the referee go, break, to tell the wrestlers, and I could hear it, and it was driving me mad. So it meant that the wrestlers were going to slow down for a little bit or change tactic. But there was that great part, as you say, Carl, where Tommaso Ciampa was just running backwards and forwards like he was in a marathon, as the commentators said, just smacking the hell out of Walter. They made Walter look extremely strong, I thought, in this match, and he won clean as well. Let's not forget, this was no shenanigans in it. This was a clean victory. Walter, in my opinion, is one of the absolute best. Yes, he might not look like a bodybuilder type physique, but take nothing away. When I think of men and wrestlers, I'm thinking of Walter, and there's only another guy that I think that comes quite close to him, and that's Brock Lesnar. And I would love to see that as a dream match.
That would be an awesome match.
The European against, you know, the American, and I think like there's a lot of similarities. I'm sure that would be a tremendous match. Brock likes physicality. Walter could bring it, I'm pretty sure. The only problem for me is I think Walter has to be treated as a special attraction like Brock. So I think if he went to the main roster, it probably wouldn't work. But keeping him in the UK and just doing the occasional matches like this is a perfect setup for me. So I very much enjoyed it. This it was an excellent match. went a fair bit of time. They got 17 minutes, and yeah, I mean, a clean victory. I'm sure a lot of people were thinking if Walter was going to win, there'd have to be some sort of interference, but there was none of that. Here's that guy, is one of your favourites as well, Carl, Mike Angus. I'd like to see Harry Smith come in to take on Walter. I'll tell you what, that is a great shout, and interesting that you say that. Do you know what? My first ever interview, just give myself a little bit of a plug here, Cole. So give me shine for a second. But my first ever interview on a podcast was with Diana Hart, and we started to talk about her son Harry. And at the time, Brock was just coming back, and Harry was doing some stuff with MMA, and we were kind of pitting them both together as a dream match as well. So Harry Smith is definitely another guy up there who I would love to see. Obviously, he's very much in the news at the moment because our very own Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, was inducted finally this year, which was fantastic to see. So good shout there, Mike. Obviously, don't forget, while we're here tomorrow, I'll be back with Mike Angus for the WrestleMania preview tomorrow from 12:30. Should be pretty decent. There's us there. We'll be coming on from 12:30, and then Sunday we're back as well with the hair of the Mad Dog himself. All things from WrestleMania Night 1. So pretty cool. Thanks for checking us out, Mike. He's a great guy. He's everywhere, that bloke, I tell you.
Yeah,
and he's going to be with us for added time as well. So he's got a very busy weekend. As Mike. So. Better make sure he gets his rest in, Carl. That's for sure. Because if he falls asleep on this, we're in trouble. Okay, so yeah, that was a good match. Enjoyed that. What we got next, my friend?
GYV, Grizzled Young Veterans versus MSK versus Legado del Fantasma in a tag match. Well, for the tag titles,
Yeah, what did you think of this? Because I saw clips of this. I was kind of in and out, but I mean, it looked like a decent match. I've got it running on the background here. MSK, I think a lot of people were expecting them to get the victory coming out of this, but yeah, some great spots. I mean, this was pretty decent. Again, I know people might think what we got to point out is these cards were really good. They weren't just good; they were really good. So any match is of good standard. So I think this was a great tag match. No issues from me, especially with the winners. MSK winning pretty decent. Match just goes just over 15 minutes. Was you happy with MSK? You fans of MSK, Carl? Or they do it for you, or are you in and out?
In and out on that one. If Grizzled Young Veterans won, I'll be very happy. But it's one of those things, and hopefully again in the future. I keep saying that word, but one day, hopefully, Grizzled Young Veterans will be the NXT Tag Champions.
Yeah,
that's a really cool photo.
Yeah,
wow,
absolutely. So that was cool, and then we get the NXT Women's Championship match, which I guess was being what it was in a prime position here. Who was you a fan of going into this, Cole? Who was you backing in this match?
Probably Raquel Gonzalez. Now, there's one reason for this, and that reason is if she won, which she did, I thought that Dakota and her would split up, and then Dakota Kai would go after the gold, and then there'll be a big match at some point, and it would just blow up because Dakota Kai is one of my favorites. Raquel is one of my new favorites. Bang together in a match, hard hitting. And yeah. Overall, it was a good match.
It was very good, mate. I was very impressed. This is it's one of those things where sometimes main eventing on a night like this that has been pretty decent, you've got a lot of pressure to have to go out there and perform. But I think they did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Ran about 13 minutes. I quite liked the story of it, to be honest with you, that they told, and some of the spots were pretty good for me. And Gonzalez is definitely somebody that, I mean, I want to say she's going to be really huge on the main roster, but I think for any female that signs with NXT at the moment, in the women's department, even in the UK especially, you are kind of signing in like very deep water, whereas a lot of the other promotions I'd say are quite shallow with their women's roster. But WWE, they've got a huge pool of females at the minute. But I tell you what, it's the long game to play, because ultimately, if you can make it on the big stage, then you're going to, obviously, that's going to pay off very nicely for you. So yeah, it was a great match. I thought overall night one was very good. I would say, I'm going to give a little spoiler here about my favorite night, but I would say night one was a more consistent show, but I felt like night two, just on some of the matches, gave you that little bit extra. But I think as a whole show, this was the better one that I enjoyed the most. Let's take a couple more comments. We got Rambo, women's match was best. There you go. Yeah, we just kind of put that in, and Lewis agrees. So this one went down very, very well indeed.
Yeah.
And, that's cool. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Now, before we get to night two, Cole, we're gonna shoot to an advert in a second. But before I do that, I just want to get everybody's attention for later, because someone else you know very well, Carl, Stu Palmer, who does the Big Fight Weekly for us. We've done a special WrestleMania special of MMA wrestling crossover. It featured myself and Wrestling Travel Zone Justin Clapper, where we discuss all the wrestlers that have gone into MMA and MMA guys and girls that have gone into professional wrestling. It's a really good show. It starts at 7 p.m. tonight, available on Powered for YouTube. And the big one tomorrow is, of course, our wonderful showcase that is going to take place from 2 p.m. and from then on the hour, so 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 8 o'clock, you are going to get a match on the hour. There might even be 2 matches every now and then on the hour. So come and check that out. That's going to be available on Powered4.TVs YouTube channel and Facebook. And again, we are featuring talents from the likes of TNT Extreme Wrestling, PWA all the way from Belgium, Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Clash, and the archive of 1PW, which is going to be an awesome day. Just chill out, relax. A whole weekend of wrestling, build up towards WrestleMania, basically. You can come in and out, and that's what we're going to be doing. Carl, before we get to this break, my friend, WrestleMania is only, of course, one more night away. We've got SmackDown tonight, which I know they're going to be doing some kind of pre-show stuff, I believe, on that show. But have you got like a little setup for tomorrow? Are you going to be watching it live, or are you going to watch some of it and watch another half of it in the morning of Sunday? What's your plan going to be, my mate?
Wow, fingers crossed all night. I'll probably get a monster and just stay up the whole night then. But knowing me, probably fall asleep halfway through, knowing what I'm like.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You'll have to tell me how you get on with that, and at what point you fell asleep, because that might be a telling point for me and Mike to talk about on that Sunday. So come on and tell us. So guys, we're going to be back with, of course, night 2, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about WrestleMania as well, giving some slight predictions, not too many, but some slight predictions on the weekend, because obviously it's a big weekend overall, and obviously some of the stuff that's coming up on SmackDown. We'll see you straight after this. There we go. So Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, check them out. Great friends over there. John Bullard, who of course recently come on and done an interview with me. So check that out. Also on YouTube. Fantastic promotion. Loads of great talent to go and have a look at over on Powered4.TV. Over 25 promotions available for you. But Carl, it's time to go on now to night 2. Just last night.
Okay.
In fact, in the night 2. So what do we get, my mate?
So we had the start-off match, which was wasn't it? Well, in the pre-show, it's Breezango versus Drake Maverick and Killian Dane, and that was quite a good match. I didn't see all of it, but I saw the last bit where Killian Dane lifted Drake Maverick up and slammed him down onto can't remember who it was now, but it was one of the Breezangos. And,
I'm trying to find a clip, but I don't know if I can find one. But yeah, you're right. It was great to see him there. But like he always gets that spot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Poor old Drake Maverick. He always gets that. You know, he had Walter a little while ago. So
yeah.
Poor old him. But did you enjoy this as a pre-show match, Carl? I mean, it is only a pre-show match, but sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're just there to build more on for the show to come. But I thought it was pretty decent, to be honest with you. And I think Drake overall, I still think there's a decent run in him. I still think he gets overlooked. I think they could do something with him. I know he's perceived as a comedy wrestler, but for anybody that watched him in TNA and stuff like that, and in the UK especially, you know, he's definitely got more to offer. So hopefully at some point here he'll get that opportunity. But go on, tell us about the result. And was you happy with it, Carl?
I was very happy with the result. Drake Maverick and Killian Dane won, and I was like, "Whoa, it's Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud. He won. You know, he was one of my all-time favorites." And when I was younger, I actually have a DVD of I'm rambling on a bit here, but I had a DVD of 4FW,
right.
my local company, where he actually wrestled for them as Rockstar Spud, which is really cool. So yeah,
right,
yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Cool. Lovely stuff there, Carl. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. What was then of course we get to the main show. We get a stand and deliver performance. Of course, I'm not sure it done too much justice in my eyes with Adamant, but that might be my age showing there. Did you enjoy the track at the beginning? Have you ever let's ask this, Carl. Obviously you're a completely different generation to me. Have you ever heard of Adamant?
Not sure. Don't think so.
That means no.
No.
Well, he was quite the character, but that was his original track. And, you know, every time I kept seeing Stand and Deliver, it just made me think of the song. And obviously they did a cover of it, a lot different. Was you into the how she performed it? Was that your type of stuff, Carl? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Cool. So what do we get first up on the main show then, my friend?
Well, we had Santos Escobar versus Devlin in a cruiserweight to crown the actual cruiserweight champion in a ladder match, and hats off to both of the men. It was a proper good match, and there's one highlight that made me just go whoa this morning. That was where they did the Spanish fly flip off the ladders. I was just like this. I was like whoa, you know, it was crazy, and there was some good. And when Devlin moonsaulted off the ladder, that was another good move. And I'm quite happy with Santos Escobar winning. Well, very happy because I like him. He's really cool. And I think he's quite a good heel, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's a good match. I mean, obviously, the outcome as well, which was, I don't know if I was surprised or not really, because Jordan Devlin, he's held that for some time now. And I guess there was always going to be a kind of change at some point. But yeah, it was pretty decent, wasn't it? Trying to flash up some images of the show there. Some good iconic shots going on here that we would have seen from last night. There's what you were talking about. Look at that poor old Drake Maverick. You know, he's in the wars, isn't he? With that one. But no, it was absolutely fantastic. And obviously new champion there, so to go forward for the cruiserweight. So very good, and a nice moment towards the end. Then we get the North American Championship match, because Bronson Reed, who'd won it the night before. Now, I'll be honest with you, Kyle, I didn't really think much of his chances
No.
only because I do like Bronson Reed, but for me, he's kind of one of those guys that I've seen so many times on NXT. I can go back to Rusev. I can list off so many guys, Joe and all the rest of it. They've all come in with that sort of body shape, looked very dominant on NXT, but then they go up to the main roster and they get completely lost. And before you know it, they're just an average mid-carder and either seeking to leave or they're doing nothing. So I am for him. I do think he's talented, but I think there was a lot more. I would have preferred if it was someone else. I'm not just talking about, Dexter Luna. Like there was other guys I think that might have made more sense. So in the end, Gargano. And now you're a Johnny fan, Kyle, because people either seem to love him or hate him, from what I read sometimes. But are you a bit of a fan of Johnny Gargano?
Yeah, quite a fan of Johnny Gargano. You know, DIY with Tommaso, and he's really cool. And I like it. I like the new stable. You know, I really like him. He's quite cool.
Yep, yeah, he's got that about him. And this match, Carl, was you surprised with the outcome itself? Like when you was watching it, did you expect a complete new sort of champion out of this, or not?
No, I
No.
had that gut instinct that Johnny Gargano was going to retain. You know, and he did. So yeah.
Well, of course, Bronson, Bronson, don't forget, out of this gets the rub there, and it's kind of one of those things. I mean, I like it and I don't like it with Bronson. I'll probably sound a little bit harsh on him, but I don't know. I think going forward, he could be the guy with the title that he can do things with it, but I don't know. And Gargano, like, there's a lot of talk about him stepping back up for the main title as well, Cole. So we might see him try and get back up for that as well, which would be pretty crazy in my opinion. To see them again, because Gargano and Ciampa seem like they've been on NXT for a long old time now.
Yeah.
But there we go. Now, what about the next match, Cole? We've got the NXT Championship match here. Finn Balor, of course, against Karrion Kross. I mean, this guy he's been out injured. Of course, he lost his title because he got injured last year. And then they kind of, in the storyline they were kind of like talking about similar injuries where Finn Balor had to give up his title. It did make me laugh, I have to say, when they tried to sort of say, well, Finn Balor come back and won the championship again. I thought, well, it's not quite the WWE championship though, is it?
No.
It's the NXT one that you won yonks before that. So yes, it's good, but it's kind of not good at the same time.
Yeah.
And did you? Are you like with Finn Balor, Cole? Do you prefer if he was like coming out as the Demon, or are you set with how he looks here? He had a kind of for those gamers out there. He kind of had the what is that game? Is it God of War? Kind of the stripes going across with the red mark that he had.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed that in the match. I thought that was a nice touch. But are you a fan of the Demon Finn Balor, or do you like the way he is just as Finn Balor?
Demon Finn Balor. When I was younger, I always used to be a massive fan of it. You know, it was so cool, and like it did scare me sometimes. I was like, oh, but then they got used to it a little bit, and I really liked him. He was one.
Like the Undertaker.
When he was Demon, he was one of my favorites. You know, I like Finn Balor, but the Demon was even cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Finn Balor. I always thought when he was on NXT originally that he'd come up and be one of the biggest superstars along with Bayley. I thought they were juggernauts. They could sell a lot of merch because he had appeal to both adults and children, especially at that time. And they kind of messed it all up in a lot of ways. Karrion Kross, he's coming in with a lot of baggage. I mean, a lot of people quite like him. You know, he's got this crazy entrance that we always see at the beginning. He's quite an impressive figure. What do you make of him? Are you a fan of Karrion Kross, Carl?
Yeah, I think he's quite cool. I haven't seen too much of him, but from what I have seen of him, he does seem quite cool. I mean, if I had to rate them out of Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, I'll probably go for Finn Balor because I've seen him a lot more, you know, and when he was in the Indies and all that stuff. But but I do like him. He's quite cool, you know.
Yeah, he's a cool. He's. I mean, he's got a decent look, and I like. The entrance is what it is. Sometimes, or most times, actually, when they go to the main roster, those entrances they don't tend to come with them, or they change their music, and so it's difficult to know what will happen. I know a lot of people might keep correcting me. I know SP3 would if he was here after listening to his podcast about NXT being the third brand and not the development anymore. But I'd actually have to argue with him on that one because why is it when the likes of Keith Lee go up, they get a complete repackaged
Yeah,
and different stuff? So, obviously he comes back, he wins the championship in quite sort of I would guess pretty dominating fashion there. Was you happy with the result, Carl? Did you expect anything less, or was you holding out for a Finn Balor victory?
well, I mean, I liked Finn Balor as a champion, but I thought it would be quite cool to see Karrion Kross as the new champion, and it could lead him to big things, and he won, and I didn't see the whole match. I only saw highlights of this one, but I thought what I saw, it was quite good, and I'm quite happy.
Yeah, he's back in that role again. I think if Vince McMahon going on his past would certainly like the look of a Karrion Kross, I'm sure, on his main roster. But he can probably spend a bit of a time down there and build up some more stuff towards maybe a SummerSlam again at the Takeover and all things like that. So yeah, a decent match, one of the best on the night, I felt. The next one, of course, they were claiming was unsanctioned match by
Mm.
WWE and NXT, even though they had the whole entrances and music and all the rest of it. But that aside, it was an unsanctioned match. They did not approve it and blah, blah, blah. But obviously this had quite a heavy story coming into it. I love Adam Cole, but I am a massive fan of Kyle O'Reilly. I watch him at Progress and shows like that when he came down, I think, for a Super Strong Style 16.
Yeah, Super Strong Style 16,
Yeah, he done really well over that weekend, and I've been a sort of fan of his since. He's very technically sound. Yeah, he doesn't maybe have the charisma that everybody's kind of after sometimes, but I think that will come naturally. I wouldn't put on anything too much. I know he sort of was coming out to a bit more of a different look recently, especially when he turned up and stuff like that. So, but as long as they don't completely go away from the Kyle O'Reilly, I know I'm fine with it.
yeah.
But this was a match, obviously, being the main event as well, being unsanctioned. There was a lot of expectations in this, Cole, to what we were going to get here, what we were going to see. I actually felt like, I mean, this was a long match, first and foremost. This was not short at all. They had
No.
tremendous amount of time to tell the story, and I keep harping on about that, about having enough time to tell the story, how important it is bell to bell. And I felt they did a very, very good job of that and getting the time. There was a lot of craziness in this match, Carl, wasn't there? There was a lot of
Yeah.
things being used, then breaking up the sets and even the entrance way towards the end. I loved the throwback to the both guys sitting on the chairs after everything and just slapping the hell out of each other and punching God knows what. So, yeah, it kind of took you on a very long journey, but for a main event, I think they captivated me. They kept me in my seat, and it was another classic match from an NXT takeover. Just before WrestleMania. It's going to be very hard to follow something like that, given everything. But what was your thoughts, mate? I've been chatting on my head off here.
Well, if I'm honest, I didn't see the whole thing because this morning I woke up late and then didn't have time to watch everything. So I saw clips on YouTube.
Dear, Carl. We'll have to fine you.
I know. Oh. But yeah, so from what I saw, it was awesome, and the result, I'm so happy because Kyle O'Reilly, not just because he has the same name as me, but he's just a talented guy as well. I
was going to say, is that a bias because of your name, Carl? Lewis Young, Cole, and O'Reilly match was good. Yeah, I think we all agree. I mean that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think we're saying that because it had all like the craziness in it. It wasn't just that. I think they added more. It wasn't the fact that they were just using all the weapons and stuff. I think they were just able to tell the story. Very good. Rambo here's just popped in with a quick question. Do you think Cena could show up? And also, I'd love to see Brock or Cena. I have not heard anything about John Cena, but you never say never with WWE. I'm just not sure that's something they're going for this year. I mean, normally they sort of give you a little bit of a hint, unless they want to do a total surprise, which is always great, you know, when something like that happens. Carl, is there anybody you can think of off the top of your head that you'd like to see maybe not return, but maybe even just have a run in or show up, you know, a surprise that we haven't seen? Is there anybody that you can think of?
Wow, Pete Dunne, that would be quite cool, even though he's not on the big roster yet, but I that would be quite cool if he just debuted, you know, and then bang, he won the Raw Championship or something, and it was just like, oh, whoa, and, you know, it's just been really crazy.
Career.
Yeah. Or Kyle O'Reilly, that would be quite cool as well, but obviously that's probably not going to happen because of Takeover and stuff, but you never say never.
You never say never. And yeah, Kyle O'Reilly obviously defeating Adam Cole in the end. I think it puts him in an amazing spot. A lot of people speculating now, of course, Adam Cole possibly going to the main roster, and it's left a lot of people feeling, are they going to muck it up? Are they going to do it right? It's one of those things we're not really going to know until he debuts and we see what sort of character or role he's given. You know, you never know what it's going to be like. So he's somebody that potentially Raw the night after. You might see something like that when all that happens. Don't forget NXT now next week changes its day from Wednesday to Tuesday.
Was it Tuesday?
It's Tuesday, yeah.
I thought it was Thursday. Got to wrong day.
We're on Tuesday. Impact has changed to Thursday, though. But AEW, of course, remains on Wednesday. So we've almost got wrestling every night now, as if we didn't have it enough as it was. We've now got it every night. So I haven't got to have the two tellies next to each other anymore, which is not bad. But yeah, it was a great night. Overall, Cole, let's just think about Stand and Deliver as a whole. Both nights, was you impressed with both nights? Was there anything in there that you didn't like and you would have changed?
Well, to be honest, I don't think there was actually one match I didn't like. There was a few that were a bit boring. Like the Gauntlet match was meh, but apart from that, I think hands down, literally pretty much more or less all the matches were just brilliant. And they didn't do anything bad with them, you know.
Yeah, I think that as well. There was certainly some incredible spots in there. The only thing that took me out of night one, like I said earlier, was the whole when they were going to adverts, there was that pause and silence.
Oh, that was annoying. I thought it was just my Wi-Fi, but obviously not.
Taking me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I thought it was pretty decent. To be honest with you, the whole 2 nights, and you can't really ask for any more than that. I think WrestleMania. I mean, if it was half as good as that, I think I'd come out quite happy.
Yeah.
Given how many matches we've got there, but I think it was pretty decent, to be honest with you. So yeah, thumbs up from me on that show.
And me.
So that's pretty cool. Now, obviously, as well, all this it gets lost, of course, with us in the UK. We still got NXT UK, and there was this big match made. I know you were messaging me off air a few weeks ago, in fact, I think, asking me when this week was, and I kind of thought that surely they wouldn't do it this week, the week of WrestleMania, because in a way, if we think about it, Cole, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa on the Wednesday for the NXT, you kind of knew that maybe he definitely had to win because there was a match with Rampage, and I'm sure they weren't going to quickly change it that fast. So it was a bit of a giveaway there in a way, but nonetheless, the match happened. I have not seen it at all. I've heard good things about it. Cole, have you managed to see anything or read anything up on what happened?
Yeah, I watched it last night quite quickly, and it was quite a good match. Hard hitting, a lot of chops on both men. Rampage was awesome. Walter was awesome. Again, I thought Rampage might have won, but no. And this is what leads me to think who's going to come next. I did say to my friend that maybe Finn Balor would come from NXT to NXT UK and dethrone Walter, but you never know.
You never know. He's running out of opponents, though. So, but he's fantastic. Honestly, I would keep the belt with him as long as possible. He's probably that NXT UK title, along with maybe the New Japan title, and I want to say Ring of Honor's title. They're probably the most prestigious ones in terms of they don't overload them. They're not passed around like hot potatoes.
No.
And you can kind of remember who was champion in what era and generation. So it's pretty cool. So I like the fact that they're having these long, because Pete Dunne held the belt, don't forget, for a long old time as well. And of course, Tyler Bate, the first time round. So we've got this kind of history. I kind of prefer it like that, you know what, whoever does dethrone Walter is going to get such a big rub because of it, because they've protected Walter this much. So it really pays off in the end to whoever gets it, whoever that'll be. It's going to make them a star overnight, depending on who that is. But I would be in no rush to see the championship move away from Volta at the moment. Like I say, the only nightmare about this week's NXT UK was the fact that he was on Wednesday with the NXT UK title, and we kind of knew he'd have to win it to obviously have that match. But of course, NXT UK, I believe, has been pre-taped quite a while in advance, so they would have known that. But it's maybe they should have done it next week, really.
That's what I thought.
Might have made people think a little bit more of it. There might have been more eyes on it. It's a bit of a hard thing to get people to watch NXT UK, especially from the US when all this is going on. So and another takeover. So but that's cool. And yeah, more talent. Millie McKenzie obviously is there as well. Like I say, with this whole women's division, mate, it's like they're in an ocean for the female talent. There's so many good female talent, whereas the others, they're kind of like small pools. They've got great female talents, I believe, AEW, Impact Wrestling, but WWE's is just a huge stockpile of talent. So it's kind of like a little bit harder to climb that ladder. But if you make it out, you're gonna pay off big time. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed it overall. Thank you for your notes there, Carl. In all that. Now, WrestleMania, as we said, Carl, it's gone from my era of watching wrestling, which will go to show my age here, but basically it was like a whole day affair. I'd wake up and maybe I'd do my own thing. I'd stick on a VHS tape. It would have to be rewound and probably take about 10 minutes just to rewind the tape and watch it. And I'd maybe spend some time watching some old past WrestleManias, and then WrestleMania itself would come on that night, and it would be probably 3-4 hours. That was like quite a long time back then, starting at 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, fast forward, 20-25 years later, we've gone from having a whole weekend, and now we've got a whole week of WrestleMania. So it's been a huge commitment to do this and to watch all this stuff. Like I don't know how everybody's doing it. You've said you've fallen asleep twice, so I kind of don't feel so bad that I can't watch all this stuff now, because if you can't do it, I certainly wouldn't be able to. But yeah, it's there's a lot to it. It's a long old thing. Are you a fan of having 2 nights of WrestleMania, or do you prefer one night?
Well, I mean, I like having the one night because it's more of a challenge to stay up the whole way through, But then having it 2 nights is a bit easier because you can then watch one, sleep, and then watch the other, and then sleep. It's not as bad. But I think the one night is more of a challenge, and it's a lot more fun because you got to stay up to watch the main event. If it's a really good main event, you have to watch it.
Yeah, I prefer one night, but I also prefer less matches. And what I mean by that is I would rather them looking at quality over quantity. And I mean, just get 8 really good sound matches. Because I think being on WrestleMania, the card, you've got to be at the top. You know, it shouldn't just be everyone gets a spot because you're contracted with WWE. I believe you really have to earn your place to get
Yeah,
there. Having said that, even with 2 nights, there are some stars that aren't on it. The likes of Nakamura, I think, has only got the
yeah,
Battle Royal to do. Bailey, which is quite surprising, to be honest with you. So there's still names that don't make it on, which is absolutely incredible with all
yeah,
this stuff. I'll have to say now, negatively, the least match I am looking forward to, there's a couple of them. One is this whole Bad Bunny business
oh
against Miz and Morrison. I'm not massive on that, I've got
no,
to be honest with you, but I'm glad they've turned it into a tag match. And the other one is Shane O'Mac up against Braun Strowman. I used to like Shane, but now seeing him at every WrestleMania in these crazy matches, I'm kind of thinking that don't forget Braun Strowman last year dominated Bill Goldberg very fast. Now
yeah,
that's Bill Goldberg. So if Shane lasts longer than 2 minutes, what we're saying here is Shane McMahon is now better than Bill Goldberg. Nothing against his age. So and it's in a steel cage. Let's not forget as well, which is,
yeah,
by the way, fun fact here: the second time a steel cage match has been used at WrestleMania. The one before that was WrestleMania 2, which is a classic match between Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy. Well worth going at your way. Now, Carl, what about for you? Is there any matches that you're not looking forward to? And then tell us a match you are looking forward to after.
trying to think of the card, to be honest. I haven't really been keeping an eye on everything. So,
Well, we got the triple threat match now. Of course, it's been turned into
oh yeah,
Daniel Bryan has been added to the mix as he was at WrestleMania 30 with Batista and Randy, of course.
yeah,
But this year, Edge, he'll be in there, who won the Rumble, of course, and Roman Reigns, who's very much at the top at the minute, you'd have to say. Yeah, that's kind of one that I'm not a massive fan of triple threat matches, but
yeah,
I think the 3 competitors in it kind of interest me to see who's going to come out. I don't think there's an obvious and clear winner, if I'm
no,
honest, in that one. So that's pretty good. And then, of course, you got Bobby Lashley up against Drew McIntyre. Second time round for Drew going in as the challenger on that one as well. But yeah, other than that, there's Seth Rollins and Cesaro, I think is going to be pretty decent.
yeah. That sounds quite good, actually.
Yeah, from their old Ring of Honor days, I think that could be a good match. Matt Riddle, or Riddle as he's known as now, I can't say Matt anymore, but Riddle Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus is also on the card. That's been added as well. Again, it depends where and how long they get, but I do like Sheamus. I
Yeah,
think if they used him properly, he could have another turnaround and do something more. You've got a tag match, New Day, with AJ Styles involved in that as well. It's good. I wish AJ was doing something else because I'm a massive
yeah,
AJ fan, like a
yeah.
one-on-one
AJ's
match.
awesome.
But yeah, so some of the matches there, but I mean, overall, 2 nights. Of course, Bianca Belair as well
Oh,
against Sasha
that's gonna be a
Banks is
good
going
one.
to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a lot of matches there, but the problem is with WrestleMania, I feel like I watch it, I enjoy maybe 3 of, I don't know, 6 or something like that, and they're all spaced out, so it's really hard to watch the whole thing and be engaged. But nonetheless, I will enjoy it, no doubt. It is a whole weekend's worth of wrestling. I guess as wrestling fans, Cole, we are kind of spoiled that we
yeah,
have so much that goes on. So yeah, it'll be cool. Hopefully, you'll be able to make it through the night. You're going to have to let us know on that one, my friend.
yeah.
You never know. Also gives me another good opportunity just to plug our friends over at Games and Graps, who will be doing another pre-show both nights
Oh,
as well.
cool.
They go on at 9 p.m. Sonny Garner and the gang will be there. They're going to basically give you the previews and news that's in and around of that night. So that'll be pretty cool. And immediately following WrestleMania is the True Heel Heat. They're going to go on 30 minutes straight after the main show. Now
Oh,
they
wow.
can do this because they live in New York.
Yeah.
Which is a lot easier. So they're cheating, really.
Mm.
Whereas us, it would be ridiculous to do this 30 minutes after the main show. I tell you,
Yeah.
it would be sunrise by then. I'd be having breakfast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that ain't happening. But
No.
yeah, it's gonna be an awesome weekend. And of course, as I said earlier, we've got the whole showcase to come tomorrow, kicking off from 2 p.m. So it's a good time to just chill out, relax at home. You know, watch all the great wrestling that's going to be in and around of this weekend. There's going to be loads of stuff, and of course, watching all our dedicated shows. Carl, what have you? I know you've been doing some interviews recently. Why don't you tell everybody about them and maybe some of your other plans coming up whilst we've got the time?
Okay, so I interviewed a guy called Sean Only on, I can't remember what day it was now, Sunday in the week, and that's now out. So check that out on Carl Wrestling. I've got some more interviews planned for the next few days. Tomorrow, Big T Justice, 7-foot guy, tall, you know, awesome wrestler. There's some other interviews which I'm not going to say too much about yet because they're still in the works, you know. But yeah, there's some definitely big plans, and I'll be doing some little review videos and all sorts of things hopefully this weekend. So yeah, just check out the channel.
Excellent, Carl. And you know, I always say this every time you come on. Very proud of you for what you've done and from where you've come from. Because don't forget, you know, you started out this journey. You know, you're still growing and you're doing a fantastic job at it. And you know, you've become incredibly good now. With even just doing this and the fact we're live and everything. So you've made tremendous progress. So well done, Carl. And look forward to seeing some of those interviews. Of course, Carl also did a watch along with me as well that you can find on Carl's Wrestling of the late great Andre the Giant, which was a fantastic match from the 80s, the early 80s, that we did a watch along to. You can get that on Carl's channel now. It's a very rare piece of footage, so go and check that out. You'll probably enjoy it. It was Andre the Giant was almost like a technical wrestler, as
it was awesome.
The show, so we never seen too much like that, but it was a very decent thing indeed. And yeah, I want to thank everybody that's contributed to the show, asked the questions, been very good. So overall I enjoyed both nights. A lot gonna take a lot to follow it, that's for sure, but I think it's hopefully like I haven't got high expectations of this show with WrestleMania, so the only way is up, Carl, for me. So hopefully I'll come out happy. Let's do it that way, which is always the hopeful thing anyway. But thank you very much, Carl, for taking time out and giving us your expertise, my friend, and your notes. It was excellent to hear from you. You did a great job there, and obviously we hope to have you back again soon, whenever that will be, from maybe another show that comes down the line, which will be awesome. Carl, where can we find you on your socials? Do you know which ones? If not, I can.
If you want to message me on my private Facebook, no weirdos, please. But that's Kyle Rogers. Instagram is Kyle Rogers 9977. Twitter is Gallus Kyle, and my other Twitter, which is my YouTube one, is Talks Kyle, I think. So go and check those out. And I'm happy to talk to anyone, you know, about wrestling. And if anybody wants to come on for an interview, then just drop me a message.
Excellent. That's great stuff there, Cole. Now, and before we go, just to give everyone another heads up, preview and news tomorrow. That kicks things off here with Powered4.TV on our Facebook and YouTube. Will be up live from 12:30, which will immediately followed by, of course, Powered4 Showcase, which starts at 2 p.m. and we drop a match on the hour from then. So it's going to be a lot of wrestling going on. You can kind of tune in and out as we go along, but there's some great matches that will be featured. And then on the Sunday, we're going to be returning with Hair of the Mad Dog, Mike Angus, Night 1 review. It's a great picture of him there. I think it's making him look better than, you know, him in person, I think, overall. No, I'm only kidding, Mike. Only kidding. Our friends over at True Heel Heat. I know, Carl, you're a big fan of SP3.
He's awesome
there as well. I know you got to shout him out. So he's got stuff still going on as well. He's got the Takeover Stand and Deliver Roundtable review, as well as WrestleMania 37, as I said before, which goes out 30 minutes after WrestleMania Night 2 has finished. That's going to be a big old show. There's normally at least 6-7 of them on at once. So it's quite a busy time, but it's pretty cool. Thanks for everybody that's tuned in. Thank you, Carl, for your time.
No, thank you.
Blast, and I hope you enjoy WrestleMania. Don't forget to check back in with us. Tell us what you thought. I'll be interested to know. And we'll see you all next time, folks. I've been John Scott. He's been Carl Rogers. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Please check out Wrestling Travel. They're a great sponsor for us. They help us with so many different events, so many different traveling inquiries. They are the greatest. They've been seen at Starrcade, Warrior Wrestling, you name it. Wrestling Travel is one of the premier traveling organizations for pro athletes such as ourselves.